Hello kids, today we are going to see about adaptation in animals part 2. Already I have completed part 1. Let us see part 2 now. In part 1, what and all I have completed is what is adaptation, the need for adaptation, types of adaptation based on habitat, what is estivation, what is migration and what is hibernation. In types of adaptation based on habitat, I have completed only the terrestrial habitat. So, today in part 2, we are going to see about the remaining 4 types of habitat. That is the aquatic habitat, amphibian habitat, arboreal habitat, and aerial habitat. So, let us go deep into it. So, aquatic animals. The main aquatic animals we all know is the fish. So, how this fish is aquatic animal? So, aquatic animals are those animals that live in water. So, what are the special features of these animals to live in water? So, you can see this fish. This fish has gills over here. So, this is the organ for breathing. So this gills help in the breathing of fish while in water. So when this fish comes out to land, it can't survive because it doesn't have lungs to take air inside and to breathe out. So these fishes will survive only in water. So they are called aquatic animals. This fish have some other features to live in water. What are they? We can see. See over the body, the fish's streamlined body. You can see lines over the body. So these fishes are considered as streamlined bodies. Then apart from this, what are the special features they are having? They have scales throughout the skin. These scales These scales protect their skin from coming in contact with water. So they act as a waterproof. These scales acts as a waterproof for this fish skin. Next, these are the fins. We call dorsal and ventral fins, and what are the types of fins you will learn in the higher classes. So this fins helps to swim and balance the body of the fish while it swims or when it is in the water. So these fins helps in swimming and balance. What about the tail? This part is called tail. This tail part helps in the direction, changing the direction while swimming. So these are the special features this fish have. So this fish is the example for aquatic animals. Next, coming for the next slide, here you can see how fish inhales and exhales. So while inhaling, the fish keeps his mouth open and you can see here the gills are closed. So in this water, the fish separates the dissolved oxygen and it can utilize the oxygen for breathing. And while exhaling, the mouth will be closed and the gills cover will be open. So the carbon dioxide, like us, they will also take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, but they use gills for this process. They use dissolved oxygen in the water for inhaling, and the same way they will exhale carbon dioxide and the water, remaining water. So this is the process how the fish inhales and exhales. Coming for the next slide. In this picture you can see crab. How crabs breathe. Most of you don't know, I think. Crabs also breathes through its gills. But you can ask me, we have seen that crabs are in land also. Then how they will breathe in the land? So these crabs, while in water, these gills help them to separate the dissolved oxygen from water and they utilize it for breathing. But while these crabs come to land, they will absorb the dissolved oxygen in the moisture of the air and they utilize this air for breathing. This is the special feature of this gills that crab has. So this gills will be present here under their body between the two front legs. So crabs also breathe through their gills. But while in land, they will absorb the moisture and use that oxygen. While in water, they will use the dissolved oxygen present in water. So this is the special feature of this crab. But you can ask, crab is also a amphibian, but it is not true. It can't be amphibian. You can ask, it can live both in land and water. Why it can't be an amphibian? Because this crab can't stay in land for more time. So if the climate is very dry, they have to move towards water only. So water only they get their normal breath. So these crab is also considered as an aquatic animal. Next aquatic animals we are going to see is the whales and the dolphins. You can see the whales and dolphins always comes to the surface of water. They will breathe and they will go inside the water because these whales and these dolphins have lungs for breathing. So they don't have gills, they have lungs for breathing. So these lungs help them to breathe only in the surface of the air. They can't breathe underwater. The lungs can't help to breathe underwater. So what does dolphins and whales do means they will come to the surface of the water, they will take breath and they will go inside. So this whales and dolphins has the ability to hold the breath even for 1 hour. So whenever they want to breathe, they come to the surface, they will breathe and they will go inside the water. This is the special feature of these animals. But you can ask, they have lungs, why they can't live in the land? But the body of these whales and dolphins are have some special features. If they come out of water, their skin will become dried out and they can't overcome the extreme climates, so they will die. So these animals skins should always be kept moistened, so they are living in water only, so they are considered as aquatic animals. Next, I have already told you the special features of the fish. So we have seen that the body is streamlined, they have gills to breathe, they have fins to swim and to balance in the water, and tails to change the direction. So these are the special features that fish have. So these animals, the dolphins, whales, crab, fish, are considered as aquatic animals. Next, coming into the amphibians. You all know that amphibians are those that live in land and water too. So the common amphibian we know is the frog. So how the frog breathe while in water? While in water, the frog breathe through its skin. So the skin will always be moistened for the frog. So this moistened skin will absorb dissolved oxygen in the water and they utilize this oxygen for breathing. So they have some holes in their skin that makes it to breathe when the frog is in water. Even you can see the front legs of the frogs is webbed here. So they all have the four legs webbed to swim in water. While in land, what they will do? While in land, they will hop in the land. So for hopping, they will mostly the back legs are supported because these back legs are more strong than their front legs. So while in water, they use this webbed feet, four webbed feet for swimming, and while in land, they will use their back legs mainly for hopping. You can see the front legs will be as such, and the frog uses its back legs to do hopping. So because the back legs are stronger for the frogs than the front legs. So moving for the next slide. Here you can see how frogs breathe in land. While breathing in the land, the nostrils will be open. So at that time, you can see the floor of the mouth drops. That is, they have a, you see here in this picture, they have some bag-like structure called buccal sac. So this floor of the mouth will drop down. While the oxygen goes inside, the nostril will get closed and the floor of the mouth rises up. They utilize this oxygen. Here they have the lungs. They will utilize this oxygen. And while exhaling out, again the nostrils will come opens, the floor of the mouth drops, and while putting the carbon dioxide out, the nostrils closes and the floor of the mouth again rises. This is the way in which the frog breathes in the land. So moving for the next slide. This is toad. It looks similar to frog, but it is different from frog because these toads are poisonous. Frogs are not that much poisonous. Some are poisonous, but not that much. But these toads are always poisonous. But the features that it differs from frog is it have a dry skin. But frog have a moist skin. These toads have dry skin. These are also having same lungs to breathe in. They have holes in their skin to breathe in water and lungs to breathe in the land. So this is also an amphibian. So coming for the next slide, this is the tortoise. Tortoise is also an amphibian. It can live both in land and water. The tortoise have a special features. You can see here with their limbs, they can swim in the water. So how it respires in the water means they have cloaca to respire in the water. Cloaca is the back part. Cloaca is present at the back of the tortoise. So in water they respire through the cloaca. But when in land they have lungs for respiration. So in water they undergo cloacal respiration. In land they have lungs for respiration. So this tortoise is also an amphibian. Going for the next slide. This is the salamander. Salamanders are of different types. Some have gills to breathe, some have lungs to breathe. Some, while they are tiny, they'll use gills to breathe in the water. But when they become mature, they will develop lungs and they go to the land and they can live over there. So these salamanders, various types are there. So these salamanders can adapt for both the land and water habitats. So these salamanders are considered as amphibians. Next, coming into the arboreal animals. What are arboreal animals? Arboreal animals are those animals that spend most of the time in the trees. You can see the monkey. The monkey is like man only. They have two hands and their 2 feet. All 4 arms are used for climbing and jumping. You can see the hand is very strong for the monkey, so it can hold and hang in the trees. Their feet help them to jump and climb over the trees. So this is the special feature of these monkeys. These monkeys spend most of their time in the trees. Going for the next slide. This is a different kind of monkey. This monkey is called a spider monkey. It has one extra arm. What is that extra arm means? Its tail. It has a very long tail. The tail is very strong. So they use their tail to hang in the trees. So they have an extra arm. So these monkeys are also arboreal animals. Next, orangutan. This is a orangutan. What is the special feature of this orangutan means? They'll have very long arms compared to other monkeys. So they'll hang in the trees with that strong arms and they will play in the trees most of the time. So they are considered as arboreal animals. Next arboreal animal that we see is the squirrel. There are many kinds of squirrel. In the last class, I have shown you some squirrel living in Arctic region. They will live in caves and burrows. But this is a grey squirrel. What this squirrel does means it always lives in the trees. You can see the squirrel has very sharp claws. That claws makes the squirrel to hold in the trees and they can't fall from the trees. So the sharp claws and the slender body of the squirrel makes it to live in the trees. With the help of the slender body, the squirrel can twist around the thin branches of the trees. Similarly, their tail is also very strong. So they uses their claws to climb in the trees. So you can see this grey squirrel most of the time in trees. So they are considered as arboreal animals. Next, coming into aerial animals. Aerial animals are those living in air, that is in the flying condition. You can see this is an eagle. The eagle has feathers. This part is called feathers. In last year you have studied 3 different types of feathers. Bird has the flight feather, the feather which is used to cover the body feather, and they have also tails to change the direction. Fish also use that tail to change the direction. These birds also use that tail to change the direction. And their body bones are hollow. They have hollow bones. This is the special feature of these birds. So they are very light and they can fly in the air. So the aerial animals includes the eagles. You can see here this is the vulture. You can see here the bat. But the bat feathers are different. You can see it has a cloth type feather. So this feather helps them to fly in the air. So these bats live most of the time in trees only, but they are also considered as aerial animals because they are birds. So in the today's class we have completed the remaining 4 habitats. That what are all they? We have completed aquatic animals, amphibians, arboreal, and the aerial animals. So all these 4 habitats we have completed. So for the next class we are going to see about the adaptation based on food habitats, that is the carnivores, herbivores, omnivores, parasites and the scavengers. So until then it's bye from me. Thank you.